Today we're at my shop because this is where it needs to start. It's gonna be new, fresh, different, something we haven't done yet. So flint and steel fires are one of my most favorite ways and so many people's favorite way to make a fire. I mean, when you throw that spark off that steel striker and you see that ember just glowing and you blow the flame, it's so much fun. So today what we're gonna look at is how you can really easily at home make yourself a striker for any of your kits, maybe a secondary kit, maybe your primary kit. It's fun, it's easy, it's a great thing for you and kids to do. You're gonna feel so accomplished after it. Now to start this, you are going to need a file, a metal file. So you can get these at thrift stores, junk stores. You can even just go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply, Harbor Freight. Just grab a file and it's gonna work great. Step one, safety glasses. The first step is we're gonna just break the file, okay? Because we don't need to carry this big thing with us. So in my case, I want it an inch or two. I'm just gonna lay it over my vise, whatever you have to lay this over. Give it a quick hit. And because the file is so hard, it's gonna break really easily. So now that we have our broken file, I like to go ahead and clean this up because these edges can be a little bit sharp. The other issue is if you buy an old file, the sides of the file are going to have file markings on them because you can utilize the sides of that. Now sometimes you'll find a file in a store, like the Harbor Freight files, they're smooth on the side. They're gonna be better because you don't have to do much work to them. But to grind this thing and make it right, if you just have a basic wheel grinder, like this one right here, it's gonna work fine. You turn this thing on, you don't need a big belt grinder, you don't need anything super specific. So we're gonna get this fired up and I'm gonna shape this. All I'm gonna do right now with this is I'm gonna take this edge and I'm going to flatten it out so it's not all rough and crazy. I'm gonna flatten out this edge and then both sides where the grooves are, I'm gonna grind those things off. And then once you're all done, there you have it. Now you need to be careful while you're grinding it. Of course, those surfaces are going to get hot. Do you need to be super particular about getting that hot? No. I mean, can you dip it in water? Yes. I mean, that's gonna change the molecular structure and the hardness of the metal. But overall, listen, if it's an old file, take your time grinding it. Don't get it to a point that it's smoking hot and you're gonna be fine with it. So once you get that, okay, grab a piece of flint if you have it. We're gonna talk about some more of that in a little bit, but give it a shot. Let me grab my flint. So just with a piece of flint real quick, look at those sparks. Glorious, glorious, glorious. It's like the 4th of July. So without heat treating, without needing to heat it up, anything, a file, snapped it, made it the size I wanted, grinded the edges, made it all nice and neat the way I wanted it. I have myself a steel striker. Now, one thing people are gonna ask all the time about is, can they just grab their drill and drill a hole in this? This metal's gonna be too hard to be able to do that, so just stick it in your bag like this. It looks super like rough and rugged the way it is. Now, back to the whole flint thing. So if you're gonna do this at home, you might not have flint. If you don't have a flint and steel kit, you probably don't have flint, so you're thinking, well, what can I use? So this is, again, it's all part of that excitement with the outdoors and bushcraft and survival. Take your new striker that you just made and go out into the woods. So here we are outside. Now, when it comes to looking for rocks, you don't have to pick a specific place. Literally just go out and explore your area, find an area that you can pick up different stones and just literally try them. You're not gonna hurt anything. So I could pick up this stone here and then I can right away start to strike it. And I could tell you already, it's hard with the sun to probably see that, but I am getting a little bit of spark off of that. So right away I could say, okay, I just put together a flint and steel kit. Now, what's important when it comes to picking stones though, is that you wanna put a little bit of time and a little bit of effort into it. You wanna try to get a nice size stone, something that is very manageable to hold. And then you also want to try to make some mental notes for yourself in order to understand what's in your area and what you want to look for if, say, you did lose that piece of flint, and then start to identify that. Not only like I am right now, I'm on an access road, so it's somewhat simple to find this, but once I know what kind of stone to pick. So for here, example, I'm looking for quartz. So white, clearish, glassy looking stone works really, really well. It's easy on this access road, but I need to also then, once I can identify this quickly here, figure out where I can find that in the woods. And in my case, I know a lot of times near stream beds or areas where there's washed out water coming through, it exposes a lot more rock than higher ground. So it's a very easy way for me to be able to find that. And that's just building our knowledge base by a very simple task of making a steel striker and then putting in the work in the dirt out here to figure out what's gonna make this thing work in an emergency type scenario, or just to have more fun while you're out there. Just take this and try to find a stone and then, you know, evolve from there. So striker, let's see, can we find here? We can find something quick. Again, I know what I'm looking for. So we have that quartz, and then really quickly we can take that stone, find our sharp edge, boom, we have spark, and there you have it. Steel and quartz instead of flint and steel, quartz and steel. But figure it out in your area. This is just building that dialogue for yourself to understand where to go and how to obtain the correct materials to make fire when you're out there. It's so much fun. So you give this a shot. If you really like flint and steel, it's fun. It's also super fun for your kids. I gave this to my kid and he goes crazy walking around trying to get stones to spark. It keeps him busy for hours. It's a great thing. So definitely give it a shot. This was Dan Walwack with Coalcracker Bushcraft. Check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. If you don't want to make your own, I make nice blacksmith ones, all different sets. You can definitely check those out. That's a plug for the website. But seriously guys, give it a good shot and stay in the woods.